points I want to go over real quick today. There is let me make sure I link it in the chat because it's for you to test out. There's so many things that you can do in Warframe that I wanted to do just something a little different from a basic to-do list tracker, something different from Google Docs. I did have something we can show, for example, like I just have like an image putting together in Canva, like all the things that I want to do, but working on my programming skills, which tab was it? Yeah. So if you go to this URL, it's going to load up by default some of these sections, and I'll just run through them real quickly. I'll try to give a more in-depth demo once I have it more stabilized. It's this section up here at the top that I built today that I do need to kind of go over, but because I used ChatGPT's help for establishing this, I need to review that code because some of the concepts aren't things that I'm super familiar with just yet, but we'll talk about it. So again, so many things that you can do in Warframe. I have it divided between time-sensitive tasks and non-time sensitive tasks. So this might be like your general to-do stuff. Time-sensitive, other than like holiday events like the Nights of Nabarus that we have for Halloween, I think your main time-sensitive stuff, other than the evasions, I guess, are your circuits in Duviri. So if you're doing the normal circuit run, you're going to have some base Warframe that you're going to be farming for, right? So this week for me, it's Trinity. Okay. And then for the Incarnon, I think most people are going to recommend the boar that you get, right? But if you scroll down, like a simple to-do task list that most people are going to be familiar with. Let me turn off my camera real quick. So maybe you've been meaning to get Gauss System Prime, Gauss Prime Systems. Yeah, and maybe for you it's a high priority, and you're going to get that from the Void. Or yeah, need a little bit of clarification. You see some of the details aren't quite there yet, but just kind of running through what you might do, and it's right there. So there's certain default stuff there loaded up, but you can edit and deal with it as you please. One thing that I want to expand on is if you're doing a Kuva Lich hunt, like maybe I'll be able to finish in today's stream, you get some more details. So not just like if it's high or low priority, or the location, kind of non-applicable for the Kuva Liches since they hop around everywhere. But do they have ephemera? What's their weapon type that you're going for? I think my current Kuva has Grattler, right? And then their weapon stats, you can be as detailed as you want, putting in like, you know, the status percentage, or is it impact or heat, that type of stuff. I think the to-do list, it kind of, certain people are really into being organized and some other people aren't going to care for it too much. That's why I have so much of it being optional. So like the location, for instance, I do have the planets listed as a drop down. Some other stuff in the works. Right now I understand the UI is like pretty basic and simple. I do want to have more of like a space theme implemented in here eventually. You know, if we have mods that we're going for, it'll be cool to have like an image of the mod, right? If you're doing your Warframe, like having pictures of the Warframe, because there's not direct access to the Warframe API, we can't just link it that way. So it's a lot of importing, probably pulling from the wiki. I don't know how much I want to do of that, but that's all really cool quality of life stuff, probably lower priority as I build it at the moment. I need to get this cleaned up because this is not really in parallel or symmetrical. And really kind of going through what is actually useful what would people benefit from most? Again, like the only real comparison I have is, okay, Google Doc is too simple. This, you can easily add in things here and there, but it gets hard to read. If we go back to this, one problem that I do have, actually, I'm going to go to this one. So we can look at mine. Like, I have a bunch of mods that I do want to get around to going after, but this is a lot of scrolling. So the quality of life feature, you probably want to hide some, like maybe only display a certain amount of ones at max. Maybe a toggle between, okay, your mods, your items, your prime parts. That's something else you need to do. And going back up to this download and this choose file. So all of this is built on local storage, meaning once you load in with the default and then you edit it, like I don't have access to that. Nothing gets uploaded to the server. Like you're saved to write or notate whatever you want. The problem is, as I'm building and adjusting this, every time I'm sending updates, it refreshes everything that's in the Netlify database, GitHub, for people who don't know how to code. The thing that is storing that code, okay, every time I'm putting an update, so every time I add more elements and details, it wipes everything, okay? So if you open this up in your browser, it's going to remember up until the point that a new update rolls out. So until I build everything more stable, I have a better version in place, I don't want people to lose their progress every single time. Like if I use this and I was notating like the full works, because again, right now, so much of this is manual. There's no easy click and drag and drop. In fact, the mods, okay, I have the names of all these mods, but if I'm not really in the mix, I'm not going to remember what all these mods do. But I took the time to type all this out. Hey, this is good. This is something that I can reference. And then all it takes is me to update something, and then you lose all of this. I would be fucking pissed, right? So I don't want that to happen to people. I want them to have some way of mitigating this in the meantime as I continue to build it. So what you can do is, once you have it set up, you can download the file, and then if you ever go to the website and you notice everything's cleared, it's back to that default state, you can upload the file that will load all the save data, basically. So inconvenient. If this was an actual product for people to use, of course, this would be a garbage way of implementing it. But as a hobby project, as I'm progressing with code, this is kind of like a sensible workaround I have right now. So saving and re-uploading data for it to read, I don't think that's too different from how Python does it with pandas, but with CSVs and Excel files. But there's a couple additional lines of the code that I don't know very reflexively. I know that it's not a problem to have to memorize all this stuff, reference, use the documentation, but the syntax and like the logic flow through everything, I just don't have it quite yet, and I do want to be more confident and comfortable with those things.